Before the world knew his smile, Charlie Chaplin knew hunger. He was born on April 16, 1889, in the poorest neighborhoods of London. Every street carried the weight of poverty, and every day was a battle simply to survive. Long before becoming a legend, he was just another forgotten child trying to find hope in a world that offered very little.
Charlie's mother, Hannah Chaplin, was a talented stage performer whose career collapsed after illness stole her voice. With almost no money, she struggled to feed her children, often sacrificing her own meals so Charlie and his brother could eat. Despite their hardships, she filled their tiny home with imagination, music, and dreams. Poverty eventually forced the family into London's dreaded workhouses. Charlie and his brother Sidney were separated from their mother and placed inside harsh institutions where discipline replaced affection. Those painful memories would stay with him forever, shaping the compassion that later defined his films. Whenever he had the chance, Charlie escaped reality by watching performers on stage. Hidden behind theater curtains, he discovered a magical world where laughter could erase sadness, even if only for a moment. In that instant, he knew exactly who he wanted to become. Even as a child, Charlie had an extraordinary gift. He could imitate people, exaggerate movements, and make everyone around him laugh. What began as playful entertainment soon became the first signs of a remarkable talent. Standing before a small audience for the first time, Charlie experienced something unforgettable. The applause echoed louder than hunger, louder than fear, louder than doubt. For the first time in his life, he felt that he truly belonged somewhere. Charlie became obsessed with comedy. He studied actors, comedians, stage performances, and every tiny gesture that could make an audience smile. He wasn't simply practicing jokes, he was quietly building the foundation of a future masterpiece. As his confidence grew, so did his ambition. Charlie dreamed of joining one of England's greatest comedy companies. Every performance, every rehearsal, and every failure pushed him one step closer to that opportunity. Eventually, destiny knocked on his door. Charlie earned a place in Fred Carnot's famous comedy troupe, one of the most respected vaudeville companies in the world. It was the turning point that transformed an unknown young performer into a rising star. As the curtain closed on one chapter of his life, another was just beginning. Soon, Charlie Chaplin would leave England behind and sail toward America. A journey that would forever change the history of cinema and the world itself. Charlie's talent was impossible to ignore. After years of persistence, he earned a place in Fred Carnot's legendary comedy company. For the first time, he stood beside professional performers who had mastered the art of making audiences laugh. It was more than a job. It was the opportunity he had dreamed about since childhood. Every rehearsal became a classroom. Charlie studied every movement, every expression, and every perfectly timed pause. He learned that great comedy wasn't about speaking. It was about making people feel. Every gesture mattered. It didn't take long before his fellow actors noticed something special. Between rehearsals, Charlie entertained the entire cast with spontaneous impressions and hilarious physical comedy. Laughter filled every corner of the backstage dressing rooms. His natural gift was impossible to ignore. Night after night, audiences applauded louder. The shy young performer from London's poorest streets was becoming one of Fred Carnot's brightest stars. Every curtain call confirmed that he was destined for something much bigger. Then came the moment that changed everything. Fred Carnot handed Charlie an invitation to join the company's American tour. America. the land where dreams could become reality. Charlie could hardly believe what he was holding. Leaving England behind was both exciting and terrifying. Standing on the deck of a steamship, Charlie watched the horizon disappear behind him. Ahead lay an entirely new world, one filled with uncertainty and endless possibility. As the ship reached New York Harbor, Charlie was overwhelmed. Towering buildings, endless crowds, a city that never seemed to stop moving. America felt larger than life, and somewhere inside it, his future was waiting. Soon after arriving, Charlie joined Keystone Studios, one of the busiest film companies in Hollywood. Cameras rolled non-stop. Actors rushed between sets. Directors shouted instructions from every corner. It was absolute chaos. And Charlie loved every second of it. One ordinary day, while searching through a dressing room, inspiration struck. Oversized shoes, baggy trousers, a tight jacket, a tiny toothbrush mustache, a cane, and a bowler hat. Piece by piece, Charlie assembled a character unlike anything the world had ever seen. The cameras started rolling. Charlie took his first awkward steps. The audience burst into laughter. In that unforgettable moment, the little tramp was born. A character who would soon become one of the most recognizable figures in the history of cinema. But this was only the beginning. Soon, Charlie Chaplin would become the biggest movie star on Earth. And the little tramp was unlike anyone audiences had ever seen. With oversized shoes, a tiny mustache, a worn-out cane, and an unforgettable walk, Charlie Chaplin created a character that instantly captured hearts. People didn't just laugh, they saw themselves in him. Every new release became an event. Movie theaters filled beyond capacity. Entire families laughed together, strangers became friends for a few precious moments, and audiences left smiling. Without speaking a single word, Charlie Chaplin had learned to communicate with the entire world. Chaplin wasn't only the star on screen. He wrote the stories, directed the scenes, choreographed every movement, and often composed the music as well. Few artists in history have controlled every detail of their own creations with such perfection. His search for perfection became legendary. A single scene might be filmed dozens, sometimes even hundreds of times. To others, it seemed excessive. To Chaplin, excellence was simply the only acceptable result. Fame arrived with unbelievable speed. Everywhere he went, thousands gathered just to catch a glimpse of him. Newspapers followed his every move. Cameras flashed constantly. Charlie Chaplin had become the most recognizable face in the world. His films crossed every border. London, Paris, Tokyo, Buenos Aires, New York. No translation was necessary. Laughter became a universal language, and Chaplin was its greatest ambassador. Yet behind every laugh, there was always a deeper message. Chaplin believed comedy could expose injustice, poverty, greed, and inequality. His films entertained millions, while quietly challenging the world to become more compassionate. Letters poured in every single day. Gifts arrived from countries he had never visited. Admirers thanked him for bringing joy during difficult times. Charlie had become much more than an actor. He had become part of people's lives. By the late 1920s, there was no greater filmmaker. Critics admired him. Audiences adored him. Fellow artists respected him. Charlie Chaplin stood alone at the very top of silent cinema. At the height of his career, it seemed impossible that anything could ever stop him. He had conquered Hollywood, conquered the world, and secured his place among history's greatest entertainers. But beyond the applause, dark clouds were already beginning to gather. Soon, Charlie Chaplin would face the greatest challenge of his entire life. Fame made him a legend, but it also made him a target. Politics, controversy, accusations, and exile. The fall of Charlie Chaplin was about to begin. By the end of the 1920s, Hollywood was changing forever. The arrival of synchronized sound transformed the film industry overnight. Studios rushed to embrace the new technology. For many silent film stars, it meant the end. Charlie Chaplin watched the revolution unfold, unsure if his greatest creation could survive it. While everyone else chased the future, Chaplin refused to abandon what made him unique. He believed that true emotion needed no translation. The little tramp belonged to everyone, regardless of language. It was a risky decision, but Chaplin had never followed the crowd. Instead of surrendering, he created films with even deeper meaning. Behind every joke, behind every awkward stumble, came powerful criticism of industrialization, inequality, and the loss of humanity. Chaplin wasn't simply entertaining audiences anymore, he was challenging society itself. In 1940, Charlie Chaplin took his boldest step. The great dictator openly mocked tyranny and hatred at a time when few dared to speak. His unforgettable final speech called for peace, freedom, and compassion. It became one of the most powerful moments in cinema history.
But admiration soon gave way to suspicion. His political opinions, his outspoken criticism, and his refusal to remain silent made him increasingly controversial. Newspapers attacked him. Politicians questioned him. Public opinion became deeply divided.
During the height of the Cold War, government agencies closely monitored Chaplin. Rumors, accusations, endless investigations. Although no crime was ever proven, the pressure around him continued to grow. Hollywood was no longer the welcoming place it once had been.
In 1952, while traveling overseas, Charlie Chaplin received devastating news. His permission to return to the United States had been revoked. Rather than fight a long political battle, he made a heartbreaking decision. He would never truly return.
Chaplin settled in Switzerland with his family. Surrounded by peaceful mountains and quiet lakes, he finally found the privacy that had escaped him for decades. Yet, even in peace, memories of Hollywood never completely disappeared.
As the years passed, Charlie often revisited the films that had changed his life. Every frame carried a memory. Every character reflected a part of himself. The laughter, the applause, the struggles, they had all become part of an extraordinary journey.
Although his career had faced setbacks, his influence never faded. Charlie Chaplin proved that true art can outlive politics, outlive criticism, even outlive generations. The little tramp kept walking, not across movie screens alone, but through history itself.
Years later, the same world that once rejected Charlie Chaplin would finally welcome him back and give him one last standing ovation, a farewell worthy of a true legend.
20 years after leaving America, Charlie Chaplin returned. The same Hollywood that had once turned its back on him now welcomed him home. Time had changed many things, but it had never diminished the love people felt for the little man with the cane and the bowler hat. In 1972, Charlie Chaplin received an honorary Academy Award. As he stepped onto the stage, something extraordinary happened. The audience stood. They applauded, and they kept applauding. For more than 12 unforgettable minutes, it remains one of the longest standing ovations in Oscar history. It wasn't simply applause, it was forgiveness, gratitude, and respect.
New generations of filmmakers continued to study his work. Directors, actors, animators, comedians, all found inspiration in Charlie Chaplin. His techniques, his storytelling, and his humanity continue to shape cinema even today. Chaplin proved something remarkable. You don't need words to move millions of people. A smile, a glance, a simple walk could cross every border on Earth. Laughter became a universal language, and Charlie Chaplin became one of its greatest ambassadors. Decades have passed, yet children still imitate his famous walk. Artists continue drawing him. Actors continue honoring him. His most beloved character never truly disappeared. The Little Tramp is no longer just a film character. He is part of world culture. Few people represent cinema itself as completely as Charlie Chaplin. His bowler hat, his cane, his oversized shoes have become symbols recognized in every corner of the world. More than an actor, he became the very face of silent film.
History remembers many extraordinary artists, but only a handful changed the language of cinema forever. Charlie Chaplin belongs among those rare legends whose influence can never be measured by awards alone. His greatest achievement was touching the hearts of millions.
From a child raised in poverty to the most famous entertainer on earth, Charlie Chaplin's journey became a story of resilience. Every success, every setback, every smile helped create a legacy that continues to inspire dreamers around the world. Technology changes, movies evolve, generations come and go, but true masterpieces never grow old. Chaplin's films continue to make audiences laugh, cry, and hope, exactly as they did a century ago. Helped create a legacy that continues to inspire dreamers around the world. Charlie Chaplin once said, "A day without laughter is a day wasted." Perhaps that is why his journey never truly ended. Somewhere, on an endless road, the little tramp is still walking, hat in hand, cane swinging, smiling at the world, and reminding us that kindness, hope, and laughter will always outlive time.
If you enjoyed this journey through the life of Charlie Chaplin, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to IconForge, and tell us in the comments. Which legendary figure should we bring to life next? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.